Hello everybody, welcome back to the playthrough. I'm here with Gwythr, the champion who last episode defeated Dragon Slayer Armor and Osiris the Consumed King. 2 bosses, 1 episode, and now we have a door. I'm actually thinking, do I want to go through this door first or do I want to go back to the Grand Archives? No, I want to go through this door first. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I think so. But yeah, I can't wait. I actually tried to stream last night, but I couldn't because my internet is terrible at night for some reason. But during the day, it's great. But I couldn't. I couldn't wait. I can't wait for what comes next. Okay, what's this say? Door. Yeah. Nice. I like it. Let's follow that ghost, shall we? Open sesame. Hello? Crazy, I did it. Hello? Let there be death, huh? Oh my gosh, yeah. Look, here we go. We have Serpent Man. Dead Serpent Man. And, Rosetta Stone tablets. Whatever that's about. I see you. Alright, come here. Oh, wow, that really wraps around, doesn't it? Alright, what you got for me? Large shard, I'll take it. Thank you. Just want to get my chime moving here. It's still +6. What do I need to make that higher? Oh, I need chunks, and I have chunks. Oh, that's a gesture. And here we have the Path of the Dragon, which is going to allow us to access a secret area. Well, it's not that secret, but it's kind of secret. Scale. And a wall behind the chest leading to another secret area. Oh man. So this area is quite cool. Untended graves. Hey guys, so at this point in the video, there's not going to be any game audio, and this is going to be post-commentary. And the reason for this is, for some reason, when I rested at that bonfire, obviously that's not the cause, but, you know, I guess somehow, like, the playback feature turned on, and it was recording the audio from the playback as well as the audio, because I'm using a single monitor, as well as the audio from my mic. And so I had that weird double echo, double voice thing where you hear me and then you hear the other and then you hear me again a second later. And oh, we got Corvians up ahead. Yeah, let me just approach carefully. I'm not sure how much damage I'm going to be doing to them, like if they're beefed up or not, but killing them quickly is key. But anyway, I don't know why, but all of a sudden that's what happened. And so I have like 2 whole sessions, streaming sessions, where this is the problem and I don't notice it until afterwards, until like post-production, until I'm like actually gonna render the video to put it onto YouTube. And people came and went in the chat. Oh my gosh, these Corvians, I hate them. These super spammy birds. Ow. Oh, don't get poisoned. Back up. Yeah, got the backstab. Okay, sweet. Sweet. And finish it off. But lots of people came to the stream, and then I would notice like people would pop in, and then they would leave like almost immediately. And maybe that should have been like a warning sign, but I'm still such a rookie at this. I didn't think anything of it. And again, this is something I just noticed more later. But man, nobody said anything. Nobody put in chat, oh hey, your audio's messed up. It was unwatchable. Ooh, we got an item here. Hang on, I'm gonna pause my rant. So let's take a look. Oh, by the way, that's my coffin. So this area is a complete mirror of the Ashen Estus flask ring. So this ring was left here by the Queen of Lothric, which we're assuming was Gwythr. And this area, the Untended Graves, is like a mirror image of the Cemetery of Ash where you start the game, except everything's just dark, the enemies are different, that whole thing. And when I first came here, my first thought was that this is the real Firelink Shrine, and that we've actually teleported from a Firelink Shrine that is out of time, that is in a different time in the beginning of the game. Now, I now know, and we find out evidence later that that is not true, but the reason why I thought this is because you have to hit an illusory wall to get here, which makes me think it's in the same space-time as the rest of the game, whereas you teleport from the original shrine. And to me, that suggests that that one is the one that's either in the past or something. It's in a different time. But that's not true, and I'll show you the evidence later on that is why we now understand that this shrine, this cemetery is actually in the past, and somehow by hitting that illusory wall, we have traveled in the past. I don't get that. To me, that seems a little fishy, but that is the answer, and we find proof of that later on. But anyway, oh, and back where that bonfire was, that's where we found that first soul item of the game, where you have those two diverging paths. And then up ahead, that is where we normally would find the Ashen Estus flask. It's interesting. I must be talking about... I don't remember what I was talking about at this point in the video, to be honest. I just don't, because I've already erased the audio, but I must have been talking about something similar. My theories. Okay, we've got one of those really annoying grave tenders coming up. The lightning weapon with the Sunlight Straight Sword combo seems to work extremely well. You can output amazing damage. However, what I'm really underwhelmed with right now is the Lightning Spear. Like, that's not doing crazy damage. And Lightning Stake should probably do more as well. And that's actually because Lightning Miracles, specifically damage Lightning Miracles, not Lightning Blade, but Lightning Spears, Sunlight Spears, Lightning Stake, those. They don't really start to do good damage until they hit like a turning point. And I think that turning point is maybe 60 faith. Like, once they get there, you can actually put your more points in faith and get them to go even higher. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's 50 faith. There's a certain level of really high faith you have to get for them to really start to do damage. It's basically like an exponential scale of damage, where they're just terrible for the longest time, and then all of a sudden, every point you put into it is massive. And I guess I should say after a certain level of spell buff, shouldn't I? Since it's the spell buff that's actually boosting it. Alright, I want to be real careful with dogs. Hit them with the fire. There we go. And then hit them while they're down. No, back up. Get your shield up. Yeah. Dogs can always be dangerous. They are always scary. Doesn't matter who you are. Oh, chunks. I actually need those. I would like to upgrade some different weapons, maybe, or maybe different chimes would be nice. But I'm low on chunks. On both of my characters, I'm low on chunks. I actually have a ton of Titanite shards from when I was farming those knights. Oh, hang on. You guys remember this, right? With the Crystal Lizard now, there's two. And I love what they did here, how it's this pitch black room, and yet, you know, just a little bit of light that's coming in glints off of those lizards first and foremost, so you can see them both. I didn't want to be a wuss. I'm actually going to fight both of them at the same time. But anyway, I actually have more than 99 Titanite shards from when I was trying to farm and get ears from the Silver Knights, which didn't work at all. Oh, okay. Here we go. Sweet, one of them rolled away, which is perfect. I can hammer this one down. I'm doing really good damage. Oh, and I got a stagger, but I couldn't... No, that wasn't a stagger. It was just the slam. It looked like it. Oh, the wiggly attack. It got me. You know, it's funny. I don't think the lizards have changed the whole game. I don't think they get any harder as it progresses. These guys just seem... It's two of them, but they seem just... They do just as much damage as that first lizard that you see. Alright, is he down? Yes. Alright, now it's no problem dealing with just one. And their attacks are all physical, I think. You can just block them. Even that breathy crystal attack. And there we go. I'm going to get 4 Titanite scales from this battle, which is awesome. I definitely plan to use more boss weapons. I'm thinking of actually going for maybe a combination with the Dragon Slayer shield, the Great Shield, and then maybe using like the Dragon Sword Spear or something that we find later on. And then doing a Great Shield with a Spear, and then Lightning Miracles on top of that. I think that could be fun. I haven't decided yet, though. All I know is I want to use Lightning Miracles, because they're amazing. Speaking of, over the weekend, I'm probably going to try and farm as much as I can to get both ears and sunlight medals. I did get enough for the first rank, which just gives you, I think it's, what is it, sword, it's some sort of oath. You know how my sunlight straight sword has I'm putting a praise the sun message, but notice, hang on, did you notice that actually the hat was different? Instead of a crown, it had the Pope hat, the Archdeacon hat. I don't know what the heck was going on with that. Some sort of glitch. Anyway, what was I saying? I need to get sunlight medals. I'll probably do a Champion Gundyr, actually, and farm those. And I need ears. I don't know how I'm going to get those ears. It's ridiculously hard. You never get summoned, and when you do, there's no guarantee you're actually going to get your ear. I have, what, 4? And that's like how much I've had since almost the beginning of the Irithyll area. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I basically made the mistake of, oh, invaded. Crystal Crimehild. So she's a bit of a sorcerer. And I'm a bit of a miracle worker. So we have 2 very opposing forces going at it. Heh. Thank you for waiting while I buff. What has she got? Okay, homing. Oh, it's crystal homing, so it does extra damage. All of the crystal sorceries. Which cost more, but just do more damage. Oh. Get out of here, please. Oh man, I need to be careful because that rapier's spammy attack is actually really good for getting through your guard. It just drains your stamina. Ow. Okay. We do get damage. I'm pretty sure that she can heal, though. I need to get in there. Yeah, that homing mass is a really good deterrent. And that's Crystal Hail. I actually have that spell on Makuro. A lot of people don't like it very much, but it can be decent, actually, in PvP. Versus enemies, it's useless, honestly. Yeah, I need to heal. Luckily, she's letting me. Oh, don't tell me. Aw, she did the homing soul mass. I hate that spell. Okay, luckily I dodged it. Oh, that weapon art. That was a lot of damage that she just did with her little rapier there. No, don't heal. Oh, she healed. Darn it. A lot of progress gone. Oh. I'm gonna dodge that. Will she let me heal? No! Oh, the crystal soul spear. Did half my life. It probably would do more. That's a very damaging spell. Okay. Fair enough. We'll get back there. We'll take her down. Back in the untended graves. On my way up here, I actually get killed by these grave tenders a couple times. The ones with the double Warden Twin Blades. And as I'm killing them, they have a guaranteed drop for a large Titanite shard. They also have a chance of dropping chunks. So if you need to farm for like higher level upgrade material, kill these Grave Wardens with high luck or high high item discovery is what I mean to say. So using coins or putting the Crystal Sage's Rapier on, or the Symbol of Avarice if you've got it. You know, whatever. That's a great way to get those large shards and chunks. Ow, ow. Yeah. And they have a really annoying spammy weapon art. I wonder if you guys will see me get hit by it, but it's devastating. So it can almost proc bleed all on its own, just that flippy, spinny attack that those swords do. So I've already been invaded. Just gonna buff up, get ready. Oh, right now, am I still using just Bountiful Light? I am. I'm actually going to switch to a different miracle in a little bit because I think it's faster, but I'm not actually sure. So I have Bountiful Light, and then I also have Bountiful Sunlight. And I don't know if Bountiful Sunlight's better, but it affects everyone in the vicinity. Oh, bye! Yeah. Oh, geez! Get out of here! Oh, don't fall off, please. Whoa. That scared me. That scared me even watching this in a playback. I had forgotten that happened. He just jumps up behind me, and I almost fall off the cliff. Wow. But yeah, this is the same thing as with Alva the Spurned. When you get that invasion on your way to Irithyll Dungeon, you're right next to a cliff, and it's sad, but the easiest way to defeat that invader, and this one, is just to knock them off the cliff. You learn that early on with the Master, the Sword Master. That's kind of the quickest way to dispatch him as well, is just knock him off of that cliff that he's next to. Okay? And, oh, another one behind me. Watch out. All the areas are a bit different than when we came here before. There's a lot more of them. Alright. And then we've... Whoa! Nice. I dodged that arrow somehow. And then, what have we got here? By the way, we do have a summon over there. Ow. We have a summon, and it's the Sword Master. And you can actually bring him in for this fight, which is cool. We haven't seen him in a while. Whoa, that was a nice little shift that he did. And then he slapped me with his dagger. Alright, let's take care of this annoying archer. Got him. Do I still have the spear, dude? Yes. Yeah, sweet. I actually parried him. I don't usually pull off spear parries. As in, I'm parrying a spear. Okay, I just gotta get ready for all the boss. Now, this next boss is basically like a rehash as well of the earlier one. Oh, I guess I need to go and kill every single enemy. There's nothing down here though, right? Yeah, I just had to check. Just had to make sure. But anyway, he's a rehash of a.w.t.y Gundyr, but he is quite a bit more difficult. As you will see, I actually had a harder time with this boss than I did with every other boss in the game except for the Dancer, and that's only because I fought the Dancer really early. I fought the Dancer at like soul level 13, and with +0 weapons. Oh yeah. I think I have like the highlight on Twitch of me finally beating it, and you can always just check out the video too on YouTube, one of the earlier episodes where I fight the Dancer. It was 86 times I died to the Dancer to beat it that early, and that was rough. It took me like 4 hours and something, 4.5 hours about, to do it, total. Not in a row. I split it up, because like I've said with lots of times with difficult bosses, is once I start having a hard time, I usually have to kind of take a break, because I just start playing worse and worse and worse. Like the frustration gets to you, and you're not playing better anymore. And so, I mean, if that ever happens to you, my advice is to take a break. Just do something else. Play a different character even. That even helps. And then come back to that difficult boss. And that's what I have to end up doing with Gundyr here. I'm going to put just a few of my attempts in here and deaths. But it took me 21 tries, I think, was the total. Or 20. It was 20 or 21, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a long fight for me. It feels long. It's very tense. But I had to actually stop for a bit and then get some food, and then I took a break for lunch and then came back, and then I was able to beat him. All right, here we go. So, yes, you can parry him. At least, for sure, in the first phase, you can parry him. Just because in the first phase, he almost has the exact same moves as the first time you ever fight him. However, now he also has these, like, annoying little kicks. Oh, and here we are, second phase. Yep. Block that first bit and dodge. Yeah, he's got a lot of quick attacks in between the big swipes. And it's hard to time your dodges correctly. I'm trying to get as much damage as I can in before my lightning blade runs out, since that's a big reason. Like, I don't have any time in this fight to heal, to put my buff back on. He is relentless. And so I have to do it before my health bar runs out, because there's no way I'm going to be able to heal, and I have to get as much damage as I can before Lightning Blade runs out, because he's weaker to lightning than he is to physical. And once Lightning Blade runs out, I'm just not doing good damage. It takes much longer. It's quite a hard fight. Again, I have a lot of life, so if I had a whole bunch of Orange Estus and could heal throughout the fight, it wouldn't be quite as difficult, because attrition's not a thing. But this is my favorite thing to do with Dark Souls. Again, I highly recommend you doing your own kind of challenge runs, or keeping your HP low, or doing whatever to make it more intense or exciting. Your first time fighting him is probably going to be hard, even if you have Estus, because that's how it goes. Yep, there's the first death. Because that's how this game works. You learn the boss, you learn his moveset, and you eventually can just do it fine. It's only really hard in the beginning, and so make it hard by creating other challenges. Oh, I saw that item over there. Yeah, we'll get that after the fight. I'm not in any rush. How many souls? Oh, I had kind of a lot of souls. Nice. Now, I do try parrying him in the second phase. However, I don't believe that you actually... I don't know. I ended up looking it up later. I didn't think that you could parry him, because I tried, and multiple times, and I messed up the parries in the second phase. And I was thinking, you know what? Maybe you just can't parry him second phase. But I looked it up, and apparently you can. You can totally parry him in the second phase. Yeah, see there, I try, and I thought that was spot on. But I give up after 2 attempts of trying to parry in the second phase, and maybe I shouldn't have, because turns out you can do it, and that would have made this fight way easier. It would have made the fight too easy, actually, so in a way, I'm glad that I didn't try to parry him the rest of the fight. But, you can, just so you know. Oh, he knocked my guard away, and that means he'll also get extra damage when he hits me, when I'm going, whoa, because my shield is gone. Some jabs going on. Really, he just doesn't let up. And then he also has, my biggest issue too are the kicks. They often kill me because I don't remember all of the combos where the kick comes out. And sometimes I feel like he just throws the kick out randomly in between different combos, and I can never predict it. So I'm like, oh, look, here's an opening. Let me get a hit. And then he kicks me and I'm dead. It's devastating. It's absolutely terrible. Ow. Oh, no. I left this in because I forgot there was a guy behind me. Ah! And I'm dead. You can actually see him as I walk up the path. He's like sitting down to the left, and I completely forgot he was there. And so I just had to leave that death in. That was just too funny. I cut most of my deaths out of the next part. In a bit, I'll show you one more attempt, and then in a bit, I'm going to play the theme music for Gundyr, and just kind of let you listen to the theme while I finish off my attempts at beating him. And then we'll come back to me doing this post-commentary audio. Yeah. And again, I'm so sorry about this, but I don't know. I feel like stuff's gonna happen. I really don't even know how it happened, how my playback feature turned on. I don't know. But I understand the problem and how to prevent it. I just don't understand why all of a sudden it started happening in the middle of a stream. Like, it wasn't in between streams. It was right in the middle of the stream. Boom. It just started happening. I don't know. Man, that charge. If you try to block all of it, he'll break through your guard. So you need to back up or something and then either just dodge or block a bit and then dodge that last swipe that he does. Also, that stomp that he does has a huge range. So I always have my shield up. I try to get away from it, but always shield up, or it can still knock you down from a surprisingly far distance. Oh. Yeah, and some of his attacks have such weird, large hitboxes. It's definitely a fight where you want to stay close to him as much as you can, but you then have to be wary of the added element of the kicks and the punches and stuff. And the shoulder charges, too. Oh my gosh. Like, you'll see me sometimes get hit with the shoulder, get hit with some attacks and go flying, even though I have my shield up. Like, he is intense and really aggressive. Yeah. Alright, I'll just let the music play. last attempt. This is the one where I actually win. Here we go. Check this out, you can actually get a hit and then get the riposte animation, which is really cool. I figured that out halfway through my attempts. And there it is. Oh man, I was so happy. It was crazy. I was even happier than when I beat the dancer early, just because that was a lot of frustration. And you saw at the end, like, he was so close, but one of the things, the pitfalls you can fall into is to try to go for that extra attack and you just get smashed. Like, because all the times that I get hit, it's in response to the fact that I'm lowering my shield and lowering my guard as far as, dodging goes. Like, not my literal guard, but my mental guard, in order to attack. And so I was trying to be as cautious as I could. Like, I didn't want to ruin it by trying to go for the attacks, an extra attack. I just did one hit and make sure I'm safe and then, keep going at it. All right, let's go get that item in the corner. Come on, Gwythr, go get the item. Oh, anyway, though, I guess right here I'm probably talking about how much I love this game for this exact reason, that there are challenges and they just seem insurmountable at first, but then you master them and it's like you feel like you've grown as a player, and it's such a rewarding feeling defeating a challenge that difficult. And at the same time, the game has all of these interesting story elements and roleplay elements and items and graphical fidelity. It looks like you're walking through a painting the entire game. And I don't just mean that the graphics are amazing. I just mean that it just looks good. Like, it's a work of art. But I just got the Black Knight Glaive. That is a weapon that is extremely popular in this game for PvP. I actually have a really hard time fighting people with glaives and halberds, specifically in PvP. Their moveset is quite good. They actually get, in the Black Knight Glaive, it gets hyper armor, it reduces enemy poise. There's a lot of good things about it. It has like a spinny attack that can combo with its regular attacks. So it has these long chain combos that you can put together, which is pretty great. By the way, I don't know if anyone has been watching the playthrough, but way in the beginning when I fought a a.w.t.y Gundyr, I said, oh, you know what? It's interesting. He doesn't jump off the edge, but that's what a lot of people have tried. Can you parry him off the edge? Because when you parry him, he like steps back. I tested it on a different character, and it's confirmed there's an invisible wall blocking him from ever going off of the edge. So it's not possible. It really just isn't. I thought it might be if you parry him consecutively towards the edge. And I did that. I tested it, but he just gets parried into an invisible wall and just gets stuck there. He doesn't actually fall off, which is disappointing. But it makes sense. They can't have bosses killable by having them fall off of an edge. But how great would that be? I think that would be fantastic. I remember, I think in Dragon's Dogma, there was a game that Dragon's Dogma, a different game, there's a boss that you can actually cheese by having it fall off of like a waterfall or something. It's pretty funny. I'm just kind of taking a look around to see if there's any items. The later areas of this game I am much less familiar with than the beginning areas, so I'm not confident that I know where every single item is, so I just gotta check, make sure. So this is the newer miracle, that was the Bountiful Sunlight, which also restores gradual high HP for people around me, so it's a really good co-op tool. Again, I need to look up if that actually does more than Bountiful Light, because if it doesn't, Bountiful Light can be cast in a shorter amount of time. Oh, we got Black Knights. Luckily, they're still really easy to backstab. Just dodge, get behind them. Oh, trying not to get hit in the face with that giant axe. Oh yeah, that weapon art would have sent me flying. Come on, give me the... Alright, fine. Fair enough, I don't need a backstab. I'll just kill you eventually. With Lightning Weapon does really good against these guys too. Lightning as a damage type is probably the best in the game, with concerns to what enemies are weak to it. There are a lot more enemies weak to lightning than there are for magic or fire. Or physical, for that matter. So lightning is a good way to go. Unfortunately, there are enemies that are resistant to lightning. As we will find out later on, there's a particular boss near the end game that's going to be quite difficult for me because of its resistance to lightning. Or his resistance to lightning. It's probably not the one most of you are thinking of. Most of you are probably thinking of the Nameless King. It's not that one. He can still be damaged by lightning. It's not that big a deal. But there's actually a boss that is immune to miracles. And I'll leave it at that. At this point, those of you who have played can probably guess who I'm talking about. Alright, before I go into this Dark Shrine, let's go all the way around and grab all of the items that we can. In this weird past cycle where the flame was not lit. Excuse me. Yep, there we go. Those greatsword, ultra greatsword wielding ones are still the easiest to backstab. They have a lot of recovery time between their attacks. Look at that. That was an age. I could have got the backstab, I just messed it up. It's not always easy to tell because their body's like twisting and turning when they swing their weapon, exactly where the window is for doing a backstab. I always have difficulty with that when they're attacking specifically. Their back twists from where you would think. I keep using their legs as a determination of their back. I think. No, I'm using their back, and I should be using their legs. I'm not sure which one. So we just got the Chaos Blade back in the place where the Swordmaster used to be. And the Chaos Blade, I think, actually increases your damage, or does a lot of damage, or increases your bleed, or something. You can read the description there. In exchange for slowly draining your life. At least, I assume. If it's the same as the first Dark Souls game, it should be. Yeah, in this game, I think that's what it does. Which is pretty cool. It's a really good dexterity weapon. I think it's the most damaging katana. If you lined them all up. If you're a dex build, I mean. If you're a quality build, I think maybe it might be better to do like Black Blade and put Refined Gem on it, maybe. I'm not sure. And then that's also not counting elemental infusions. Alright, so let's go check Hawkwood's grave. Or his friend's grave, I'm not really sure. Oh, does he see me? I don't know, let's get ready. Let's buff up. Is there an item over here? This is where the Homeward Bone used to be? Nope. Okay. Excuse me. Give me your backstab. Nope. I'm having trouble backstabbing these Great Axe Knights. The only time we ever saw one of these before was in that behind the hidden wall in the Demon Ruins. This is only the second time we ever saw. There's not a lot of Black Knights in this game. These are the most Black Knights we've ever seen. So far in the game, we've seen a couple that have just the sword, and then we saw one with the great sword, one with the great axe, one with the sword, and now we're seeing all three types in this area. So this is the Hornet Ring. It is a favorite for twink builds, meaning people who progress through the game to design basically a low-level player destroyer character. They really like to have the Cestus or some sort of easy parrying tool in the Hornet Ring, and they have the Dark Hand, and they'll one-shot anyone. Anyone. It doesn't matter how much HP you have. At least in the beginning of the game. Later on, it's a little bit of a different story. But the Hornet Ring will boost your critical attacks. So backstabs and parries and guard break criticals. All of that stuff. Alright, about to head on in. And here it is, Dark Firelink Shrine. And I love that you can see the thrones, and they look almost like bloody. They're very ominous looking. So let's go ahead and take a look around. I'll share my thoughts as I do so. I just needed to check this left area for items. It's always fun to actually use a torch, or to use, remember back on Makuro's character in Irithyll, I used Cast Light in that one dark room. I wish there were more dark locations in this game, really. It's honestly not even necessary in those dark locations to use any sort of light source. You can still navigate perfectly fine, it's just fun. Ludlith is not there, and the shrine isn't, but we got the coiled sword fragment. So this is a fabulous item. It is basically a permanent and infinite homeward bone. You can just teleport back to the bonfire or the shrine an infinite number of times. It replaces homeward bones if you want. And the thing about it too is you can actually trade this to the crows for an extremely valuable item. You can trade this to the crows for a Titanite slab. And I actually might do that depending on whether I need it or not, because buying homeward bones is not really a big deal. So it's convenient. It's really cool. Especially maybe if you come to this area earlier than others in the game and still get to make use of it. But it's still good. Oh, and this is an interesting item, the Hollow's Ashes. So these ashes are only here if you did not follow Uria's questline, meaning Yol died without Uria ever coming into being. If you did that, then these ashes will be here. If not, there will be nothing here. And I think the point of this is just to give you the ability to buy some of the items that Uria would have sold. Unfortunately, you cannot get the Dark Hand. We'll check later on. And you can't get the Londor Braille Divine Tome, I don't believe. There's things you can't get. So I always highly recommend, I suppose, following Uria's questline at least until you're able to buy stuff from her. And get all of the unique things that you can buy from her. And then that would be it. You don't want to go any further than that in the quest line. If you don't want to, then that's fine. You're not missing anything, really. You can follow her quest line enough to get the a certain blade, like the Morian blade, by killing Orbeck. But we'll eventually get to that. Okay, so over here where Andre is, we get the blacksmith's hammer. And it says in the item description that it's handed down to each blacksmith through generations. I had actually thought that Andre has just always been the blacksmith ever since the end of maybe the first Dark Souls game. Like, he's just always been the blacksmith. But no, it's always handed down from blacksmith to blacksmith. Andre found his way back to the shrine, though, eventually. And it's kind of it's like a meh item. It doesn't do good damage. It's really just like a memento. But it seems like Andre has even put down his hammer and moved on from this place. In this world, or this time, everything is gone. At least so far, that's what we see. Now, if you remember this area, you should know that this is an illusory wall, because the hallway goes on farther than this. Yeah. Now that looks more familiar. And that is also clearly the body of a firekeeper, as we'll soon see. You can see the mask, the visor, on her face. And we take her eyes. Now these eyes, I'll show you the item description and you can read it for yourself, but I'm watching this on a playback feature, so the screen is too small for me to read it. But these eyes are actually from it is said to be, who is said to be the first firekeeper or something, and, you know, she never found her champion and was lost. And they will, if you give these to a firekeeper, it will show them things that they are never meant to see. Perhaps a world without flame, perhaps what this firekeeper has seen, which is what happened in this cycle. The flame was not lit, it seems, in this time, and so the world has been plunged into dark, and this is what it would look like. And that firekeeper has seen it with her eyes, and we can actually give that to our firekeeper in order for her to also see those same visions of dark. And we have this lady. Now, I'm just kind of letting you read the dialogue. Now, what's interesting, I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, maybe you guys can let me know, that if you go through the whole game without talking to the Shrine Handmaid, and then you come and talk to her here, because it's in the past, first, that's the first time you speak to her, when you go talk to her in the real shrine, she will remember you because she's now seen you in a long time past, like back in this time period, which is pretty cool, I think. Again, I've never confirmed it myself. I don't know if it's on like a wiki or anything. I never looked it up. But that's what I've been told, and I think that is very fascinating. So she actually sells Artorias' set, who is a character from the DLC. It's not known that his name is Artorias anymore, but he was the Wolfblood Master and handed down the Wolfblood to the Undead Legion, the Abyss Watchers, who took up his job of watching the Abyss, of keeping it contained. Or at least I don't know if that was his job, but Artorias was known as the Abyss Walker. So they inherited the Wolfblood. I'm not sure if that was his job. I never actually finished Dark Souls 1. Now, she also has the Priestess Ring, which reminds me, we found another one of these rings. There are 4 rings that increase the main damage stats: Strength, Dexterity, Faith, and Intelligence. We now found the Priestess Ring, which increases Faith. Each of these rings are based off of basically the pillars of Lothric. So the Priestess is one of the pillars of Lothric, which was Emma, and then the Knight is also a ring that I went back and I remembered that I had forgotten in Lothric Castle. I went and got it, which increases Strength. So we have 2 of the 3 pillars: the Priestess, the Knight, and then I don't remember what the 3rd pillar is. Oh, it's the Scholar. And then the 4th is actually not one of the pillars. It's the King's Black Hands, which are like the assassins. So those 4 rings will increase by 5 one of those damaging stats: Strength, Dex, Intelligence, Faith. And now we have the Strength Ring and the Faith Ring, which are the most useful to this character, which is awesome. I probably will come back and buy the armor set if I want at some point. But yeah, now we just have to... last area to check over here by the giant tree. Actually, I wonder if we'll get a seed. That would be helpful. Yes, we do. I think that's like... we have 2 or 3 seeds now. The Seed of a Giant, just as a reminder, if you use it when someone's invading your world, enemies now can react to them, which means they'll get attacked by enemies. Can make for a pleasant surprise. I actually was doing a little bit of invading with the Ultra's Faithful, and I got into a world that someone had used the seed in, but since I have my HUD to auto-disappear, I didn't notice the seed icon, and because I came in after they used the seed, I had no idea that the seed was used. And so I started walking past all these Silver Knights, and then they started chasing me and killed me, and I was like, what the heck? And then I remembered they must have used the Seed of a Giant, which is pretty funny. I just have to swing around really quick and check that there's no like crystal lizard around the back or other item, just in case. Don't want to miss anything in this area. I wish that there was a way that we could somehow see if Lothric Castle was there. Like, if you peer off of the cliff, you can't actually see Lothric Castle. And also, you can't get into that tower, the bell tower. Even though I have the key, it doesn't work in that location. Speaking of the tower key, did you know that if you kill Irina, she drops the tower key, and that's another way to get it? I'm pretty sure. I'm not certain. Maybe you have to make her into a Firekeeper first and then kill her. But there's some method of killing Irina where you can get the tower key without spending 20,000 souls to buy it. Here we are. I don't think that the crows are here in this world. No, the crows have also left. There's not even a nest. Now, this is extremely interesting. Do you see how that wall is gone? I struck that illusory wall back in the original shrine, way at the beginning of the game. And this is what caused me to believe that this is the true shrine. That the other shrine is the one that's actually in the past. And when we go through here, we find a chest where I found the ring, and that also has already been opened and the ring is gone. Doesn't that prove that this dark shrine is actually the real shrine, and our other Firelink shrine is in the past? It's like out of our current space-time. It's like maybe a parallel. But I know that's not true. And the final evidence comes in some dialogue that we're going to get from Ludlith when we go back to the shrine and talk to him. So you'll see. But to me, what is up with that? Is that like a bit of an oversight on the developer's side? That they made it so that this wall has disappeared in this world? If you ask me, if this is in the past, shouldn't that wall still be there? However, maybe this is to prevent a time paradox, because if the wall is destroyed in the future, and you come back in the past and destroy it again, you could not have destroyed that wall again in the future, and there you have the time paradox. So maybe that's what this is. Maybe they said, hey, let's not mess with time paradoxes and make this a bit all finicky. How about if you've destroyed the wall in the future, the wall is destroyed, period, in all space-time. Same thing with the chest. If you found the ring and the ring is gone, you found the ring in all space-times. It doesn't matter if it's in the past or the future, you found it. It was one ring to rule them all. One ring to bind them, and in the darkness, spite them. But anyway, that's why when I went through this area the first time, I thought that this was the true Firelink Shrine, and the world is all going to heck, and we need to hurry up and light that bonfire. But that's not true. This is definitely a past cycle of rebirth, where the bonfire was not lit because a champion never came, as we learned from Champion Gundyr's soul item. And which means that the world was plunged into an age of dark, and this is kind of what it would look like. It doesn't really seem all that different. Maybe the age has just started, because I imagined that without the bonfire being lit, I thought that the world would kind of converge in on itself. You know, or maybe that's just a reaction to try and get the bonfire lit. But once the fire goes out, the world is stagnant. It's no longer changing. Maybe the bonfire is what actually causes the world to change at all, or to have any sort of. But I thought that it allowed it to have form. But yeah, there you go. That's it. This is the Dark Firelink Shrine. A really cool secret area in Dark Souls 3 that is very easy to miss your first playthrough. I did find it my first playthrough. I don't remember though if I found it because I discovered it myself or if because it was a message. I'm gonna guess that there was probably a message, and that's how I found this area. By the way, this is the gesture that we found after defeating Osiris, and that will allow us to access another really cool secret area that also seems to be in its own space-time, because, as you know, right now in our world, the proof that it is our world is that the sky is different, right? We have the dark sign in the sky. There's an eclipse going on. And so that's why this is kind of evidence that this is in a different space-time, and that the next area that we're about to go to is also in a different space-time. But first, I want to go back to the shrine. Since we now have chunks, I can upgrade maybe another chime, a more powerful one. The most powerful chime in the game I can actually get at this point by killing Yorshka, the lady who gave us the Darkmoon Blade Covenant. However, if I do that, I can no longer get the rewards for the Covenant. But I'm starting to think that that doesn't matter, because I'm never going to get those ears. It's incredibly frustrating. If anybody ever watches this and I'm still going through this playthrough, you know, feel free to message me on Xbox or something, or email me and be like, hey, I've got ears for you, if you can drop Covenant items, because I'm incredibly frustrated with how hard it is to get ears. Sorry, I hope you're reading the dialogue. And there it is. This is the proof. This is the proof that where we just were was in the past. He clearly knows that we found the ears because it happened a long time ago, and you know, he's talking about back then and, you know, what happened before. So obviously that was a past age of fire. And Ludlith, because that in that age no champion came forth to link the flame, that's kind of why he stepped up in the next age. Maybe that was the previous age. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. It's all super weird, the story in this game. But anyway, we need to see what we can make from Gundyr's soul, but let me first read the soul, or at least bring it up so you guys can read it. Alright, yeah, I got you, Ludlith. Yeah, and he tells us about the eyes and stuff. And, that the Age of Dark, it'll show her an Age of Dark that is brought about by a betrayal. I assume our betrayal. But yeah, come on, a.w.t.y, let's look at the soul. I must be talking, but I'm giving my thoughts out more succinctly in post commentary than I am in live commentary, like less pauses, less uhs and ums, and so for that reason, I'm able to get out my points fast enough that now I've got this like extra airtime, this extra footage where I'm talking in the original video. But I've already said all that I wanted to say, so let's just move on. Chop chop. Let's go. Let's look at Gundyr's soul. Bring it up. Yeah, here's where I remember I better read it before I use it, because then it will be gone forever. There it is. So Gundyr, you can go ahead and read here, but he seems to have actually tried to become a champion in a long time past, and then failed to do so, and that's how we ended up as the a.w.t.y Gundyr back in our time space. Now, here's my theory on this. Remember how I've talked before about how enemies with red eyes are infected with the Abyss? At least that's what I think. And Gundyr, in the second phase of that fight, in the champion fight, he gets red eyes. I think the Abyss is encroaching and infecting him because this is a world of dark, so the Abyss probably could just come out and just take over everything. After we kill him, because he's infected with the Abyss, he's able to come back to life controlled by that creature of the Abyss, the Pus of Man, the blobby thing that controls him in Phase 2 of the a.w.t.y Gundyr fight at the beginning of the game in the tutorial. And so that's kind of how I feel about it, is like, his story is he was a champion, he wasn't able to light the bonfire, we come along and kill him in the past as he's infected with the Abyss, and then his body, his corpse, is taken over by the Abyss and controlled. That's why that big abomination monster controls him in Phase 2 of the first fight. And that's really cool. If that's what's actually going on here, I think that's really awesome, that connection. Like, we are the ones who slayed him and allowed him to be succumbed by the Abyss, or to succumb to the Abyss. Anyway, we can get the Prisoner's Chain. It increases a bunch of stats in exchange for taking more damage. So, like, Vigor, Endurance, and Vitality, blah, blah, blah. I wonder how much damage. I'm not going to get this for this character because I want his halberd to maybe play around with someday. I'll get this on Makuro, just to have it, because again, luckily, except for one particular boss, every boss has 2 things that you can make. So you can, that's why I'm doing 2 characters, so I can get each of them one of these items. But that won't be true for a couple of the bosses, because, as you'll see in the future, one of the bosses you can actually make 3 items from, and another one I messed up and I probably should have gotten a different item on it, because I want that same item for both characters. But, oh well. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to get the Gundyr's halberd. Now, I do know that it looks like a glaive, but I'll talk about what the difference, at least in this game, is between a glaive and a halberd. But let's take it out so we can look at it. Yep. Fairly decent moveset. And it has a charge. It has a big stabby charge, which is cool. And part of what makes it unique. The weapon art is that you can do the charge and like extend it. And it adds like a little, almost like a war shout effect to the middle of the charge to extend it and continue to do damage or push through someone's shield. And I think that's cool. But anyway, the difference between the halberd and a glaive. The halberd essentially is supposed to be like an axe and a spear combined. And so, if it has a point at the end and you can stab with it, that's a halberd. If it does not have a point at the end and it is meant entirely for slashing, that's a glaive. And that's why you see a lot of things that look like a glaive, but really it's a halberd because you can still poke with it. It still has a thrust attack. So if it has a thrust attack, halberd. If it has only slashing attacks and standard damage, then that's a glaive. And that's how the game is calling these different things glaives and halberds, and why some people are like, well, what? That's totally a glaive. It's not a halberd. But yeah, that's why. And when they call something a glaive, it's because it has no point at the end. No spear-like quality to it. I don't think there's anything else that I need to purchase from her. I'm just kind of checking to see if what we can get from the hollow ashes. I was thinking, oh, we can get Morn's set. That reminds me, I really need to look up where we can find his hammer and shield. Is that possible to do on a current quest line? Or do you have to kill him to get it? I don't know. But, oh wow, we can get Gundyr's set, which is really heavy. It's a super heavy, powerful set, which gives you tons of poise. Very similar to the Exile set. So if you need a ton of vitality, or you need to just be okay with fat rolling to wear that kind of thing. But yeah, I expected the Hollow's Ashes to give us everything that Yuria would be able to sell, and so that we could then catch up with those unique items like the Dark Hand and the Londor Braille Divine Tome, but that is not the case, it seems. It's actually kind of hard to tell what is new at all. There's so few items that have been... Oh, we can buy the washing pole now. That's cool. I wonder where we probably got that from the Easterner's Ashes. It's basically a really long katana. And it's very popular in PvP because the katana running attack is so strong, and then that one has the longest range of all the katanas. So, yeah. But it looks like we are able to buy purging stones now, and we are also able to buy poison arrows. But the Hollow's Ashes don't seem to unlock anything else. It's just those, like, couple of things. Oh, and we can get Rings of Sacrifice. So that just seems crazy to me. That's all that was. It really wasn't even interesting. It didn't even have interesting flavor text. It basically just said that long ago, there was a Hollow who was a servant to someone from Londor. And it's basically referring to, like, what our character would have been if we followed the Lord of Hollows questline. Which, I don't know what that implies, necessarily. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to skip ahead to where I find the location where I can show the gesture. But in the meantime, in between, I do collect the few items that I missed in Irithyll Dungeon, but they're not important, and you've already seen them on Makuro's playthrough. We find Carla, and we find, like, a ring or something. I don't know, it's nothing really... Oh, we find, like, the Prisoner's Ashes, or something like that. Prison Warden's Ashes. But anyway, here it is. Here is where we can do the gesture and make our way to this other optional secret area. There it is, Archdragon Peak, and we've actually gotten a good look at that too in another location in Irithyll. Oh, we are in Irithyll. This is the Irithyll dungeon. You can tell by the night sky. If the sky is night, then that means you're in Irithyll. And so Irithyll is I think the only place that you can see Archdragon Peak from, because it's behind Irithyll, or it's behind the, like, clouds or something. But anyway, let's go ahead and give this a try. Oh, I just wanted to check these guys out. We got a knight, and this guy has an extremely creepy mask. Can you see him? It's really, really freaky. And it's weird. It's almost like these guys have died doing the gesture, waiting to be taken to Archdragon Peak, but then they just never were taken. I don't know what the point of that is. But yeah, let's do it. I just want to be full health before we get in there. And Path of the Dragon is what I'm looking for here. Oh, and I don't need to switch it. I just need to... just need to do it. There we go. So wait for it. Wait for it. So it just shows me, and it's going to show Archdragon Peak as I like, and it kind of like zooms into it. And then when that happens, when the screen goes black, you actually hear like the screech of like a dragonoid type creature, which of course you won't because I have no audio, unfortunately. But that's like just one kind of important thing to note that you're missing out on, is you'll hear this like dragon screech right as the screen goes black. And why do I like bow my head there? I never noticed that before. That's where the dragon screech would have been. And now you have a loading screen. Don't worry, I don't go far into Archdragon Peach without the without the audio. So you guys will be able to watch me do pretty much all of Archdragon Peak with audio. I just make it to the first bonfire and the first boss, which is really not far at all. It sounds far, but if you've been here, you know that the first boss is like a few steps away. It's really close. By the way, I love these like cairn stones, these little piles of rocks that you can knock over. It's really fun. It's even better than rolling through boxes. Like, I've gotten tired from the Dark Souls games of rolling through objects and breaking them. Like, it just doesn't do it for me. But there are two moments in this game that are really special. When you can roll into the scrolls that Orbeck has, and then this, where you can knock over these little rocks. They make a nice, cool little rock falling sound. It's very satisfying. And they bust open just from you walking into them. And I like it a lot. But anyway, here we go. Again, the sky is nice and bright. There's no eclipse, which suggests that this place is like escaped our space-time or something. And we have these lizard men creatures, very similar to like the snake men in Shen's Fortress in the first Dark Souls game. Yep, kill them. We're doing really good damage. Very good damage for this area. They actually have the leather shield, which is a parry shield that you can get very early in the game. Just think that's interesting. Yeah, let me get my heal going. try and be full health all the time for those Lloyd ring buffs. I think I'm actually going to be moving away from the Lloyd rings soon because I have so much health. And, you know, to not feel as pressured to be full health all the time. Focus more on other things. A lightning gem, that is great. I love how much of this area you can see. We're actually going to go up there too. I think that's actually the final boss of the area, is on top of that bridge where those dragons are. So it's neat. We're actually going to go to all those locations. Just kind of see what else we could see. There's like some scaffolding along the sides, and we are going to go onto the scaffolding, but I don't know if we're going to go onto that specific scaffolding that I'm looking at now. Anyway, moving on. Oh man, just this big expanse of clouds is really breathtaking. This whole area looks great. We're going to have some more lizard men up ahead. The fireballs have extremely good tracking. What's this? Oh, just a homeward bone. A couple homeward bones. Basically, like the game, they're telling you, like, hey, if you changed your mind, you can just turn back now. Homeward bone it the heck out of here. It's like, oh, I didn't want this. I'm leaving. Like, if you find your way here well before you want to for something. Or you're meant to, if you're too low level. Yeah, let's see how much the lightning blade is going to help with our damage here. And, oh, ow, one behind. Take that. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. Not as much as I would have thought, but it's pretty good. They must be a little bit resistant to magic or something. Or not magic, lightning. Alright, and can I try to get a backstab there. Man, they have those attacks where they like hit you with their face, and that's a little bit difficult. It wraps around their body to reach you. What's this item? The sun looks interesting for some reason. It's like white. A chunk. I need those. Alright, we'll zip around. I actually forgot the last time I went to the shrine to upgrade some, like a chime and stuff. So we'll do that next time. Yeah. This is going to be a shortcut. Sorry, I had to yawn. A lot of people do jump down that shaft thinking it's because of the messages people leave there to trick them. I actually accidentally ran into there my first time here, thinking that it was an elevator, and it turned out it was just a hole, and I ran to my death. It's quite sad, really. Let's light this bonfire, and check it out. Just this short area up ahead. There's not much left before I end the session, and we'll be back in the next episode with audio. Soul, okay. I think that's only a 2,000 soul. It's not very big. Just, man, I'm getting chunks all over the place now. This is great, because I really needed them. Like, I feel like I have an infinite supply now of shards and large shards, so I need the chunks as much as I can get. Actually, I think that this location... Oh, let me see if I can backstab this guy. Sneak up on him here. Oh, let me do lightning stake. I can't believe I did the wrong thing. I pressed the wrong button. I did gentle prayer instead of lightning stake. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Oh, wow. That fire does a huge amount of damage. And I'm dead. Oh, no, I wasn't dead, but then the fall damage killed me. That's great. That's really great. Don't worry, I'll get him the next time. He's going down. But yeah, that enemy, they are all over the place in Archdragon Peak. They are the second most common enemy in this entire zone. That's crazy. The first being just the small version of them. Do I want to change my rings? Oh, what I'm thinking is, you know where I spawned in at the bonfire? You actually saw those status bars show up? That says to me that something is giving me resistance to those different things, and I don't know what it is. I was checking to see if it was my crown, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Maybe it's just a glitch. I don't know, I never saw that before. Okay, but this time, I'll be a little bit more prepared. I'm not embered, so I have less health, but that's okay. Should be, anyway. That does a pretty good area. Pretty large area that affects. I'm looking forward to trying some co-op, actually, and using that. Alright. Let's get it. Nice. I mean, he still hit me, but it did good damage. Oh, there's the fire. It's bad news. Nice. I think you can you backstab these? Oh well, he's dead. Either way. And here we have the Ancient Dragon Great Shield. I don't think I read the description here, but I'll do it at the beginning of the next episode then. And that actually will restore your HP. So you can have that shield, you can put the Sun Princess ring on, and now you'll be like at the maximum potential of a regen build if you also combine it and stack it with regenerative miracles. That could be fun to give it a go on this character. Oh, whoa, that scared me. Even in post-production, it still scared me. Forgot he was there. Ah, stop slapping me with your quick attacks. Jeez. Okay. I'll get healed up. Now here is what's going to be a very useful item for us in particular, the Lightning Clutch Ring, since I'm focusing on lightning now. Just like all the other clutch rings, in exchange for taking more physical damage, you boost all lightning damage. So that means miracles, that means lightning weapons or lightning buffs, anything lightning. I think that's really cool. And it's going to be especially useful for this next fight. Oh, I'm being summoned. Oh, hang on, this is cool. I actually forgot that I had the, do I have the Darkening Blades on? I do, which is good. Hopefully I can get an ear, because I need those really badly. Please work. Ah. There we go. It's working. Now I just have to beat the person, and no guarantee that's going to happen. Oh, I remember what happens now, actually. You'll see. Much longer loading time going into somebody's world. Wow, that's the longest loading time I've had the entire game. And bingo, there we go. Connection error. So I get nothing. That happens 70% of the time for all of my Blue Sentinel / Dark Moon Blade invasions. It is really disappointing. And then another 20% of the time, I don't get the ear for other reasons. Like, I don't know, like, well, basically, I don't beat them. And so I've got one ear from an invasion the entire game. It's really disappointing. It's really, really frustrating. I kid you not. Like, I'm a bit of a completionist, at least when it comes to games where you can be a completionist. If you try, you can get every single thing in the game. It just takes more than one playthrough, but you can do it. Some games, that's literally impossible to do, so you have to kind of let that feeling go, you know? Let me prepare for this boss fight. Oh, right, and actually, this reminds me, too, that we need to go back to the shrine, and I should probably upgrade a chime for a better chime, since the Sunlight Talisman is good in PvP, because you can use its weapon art to gain more poise, but it's not really going to be as helpful in PvE. I'd rather have a larger spell buff instead. So I'll go back in a second, and we'll do that. Just kind of deciding what other ring I might want to put on. But in the end, I go for the Saint ring, because I might as well just get another attunement slot. I'm abandoning the Lloyd's rings, and I just want to go for, just try something different. It's tough. A lot of the rings are just only very selectively useful. However, like shields, a very good and strategic effective way to play the game is to switch out both your shield and your ring based off the situation. Because there's different shields that have different absorption rates for different types of damage, and the rings are some of them are useful only in certain situations. So I think that's a really cool way to play, is to switch out your rings on the fly and your shield on the fly if you're playing with the shield. I often prefer to not play with the shield, but I do want my playthroughs to be fairly different, so having one guy with the shield for now works, is fine. And it fits my theme. It's the Sunset Shield, and sunlight is kind of like my whole theme that I got going on for Gwythr. But anyway, I need to upgrade a Chime and see if I can get a higher spell buff than what I've got going on. So, and also, because I have higher faith, that's actually, I need to upgrade the Cleric's Chime and check, because I've been using the Priest Chime. And the Priest Chime is better, it has a higher base spell buff but lower scaling, which means that for low faith, it's better than the Cleric's Chime. But for high faith, the Cleric's Chime is better. And so I'll upgrade a Cleric's Chime to plus 6, since I've got tons of shards, and we'll see if it's actually better at my current faith than the Priest Chime. And if it is, you know, I think I'll upgrade that one to plus 8, and then not worry about using the Priest Chime anymore. Oh, the Saint Belvine. This actually increases your virtual dexterity, which means your spellcasting time. And what's cool about it is it'll work even if it's in your other hand. So you can have this in your left hand, and then have a Cleric's Chime in your right hand for the higher spell buff, since the Saint Belvine has terrible spell buff. And you will be able to cast your miracles faster, even without sacrificing the spell buff for the Saint Belvine. And I think that's really cool. Definitely something that I'll be taking advantage of later on. I think it increases your virtual dexterity by either 30 or 40. I'm going to have to look it up before the next episode. If it's 40, that is amazing, which means that you can have the maximum casting speed, which is 50 virtual dex, at only 10 dexterity. And how amazing would that be, to be able to have the fastest casting without actually putting any points into dex? And the Sage Ring, I already know, has 30 virtual dex, but there are +1 and +2 versions in this game, in NG plus cycles. So that's something for me to shoot for, I think, is to try and get that ring. That's the Sage Ring +1 and +2. I am going to be doing NG plus cycles on at least one of my characters, is the plan. Alright, let's go ahead and level up. Or not. Oh, you know what? I was thinking I was going to go out and level up with Irina, because she's a Firekeeper now in this story, and she can level up people, but there's no point. You don't get any benefit to leveling up with Irina, which is kind of sad. Like, there's no reason for me to go visit her. She's stuck over in that bell tower doing absolutely nothing, sitting with a bunch of dead Firekeepers. I guess waiting to succeed this current Firekeeper, but I wish there was a bit more to her, you know, after we've made her a Firekeeper. Alright, what do I want? I could go more health, more endurance I eventually want to upgrade, and more faith are the three things that I want to upgrade. Do I want more attunement? Is a very good question. My plan for attunement is to keep it at least high enough so that if I completely run out, I'm not wasting my Estus Flask. Basically what I mean is, say my Estus Flask can restore 200 FP. Right now, that means even if I have a completely empty bar, I am wasting 10 FP of that Estus Flask. Well, 11, technically. And so what I want to do is keep my FP high enough that I'm never wasting my Ashen Estus Flask. So I can drain my full FP bar and then use an FP Flask, and it's just the right amount to take me to full without wasting anything. And that's been my goal the entire game for this character. For Mikuro, I've been focusing on attunement slots. You know, how can I get the most attunement slots I can for the most bang for my buck? Like, get the full attunement slots that I can for the lowest number of levels. And so that probably means the maximum I'm going to go is 30. At 30, you get another attunement slot. Right now I'm at 24 for Mikuro. And then I think the next attunement slot after that is at 40, which means I get an attunement slot for 6 levels, and then I have to wait 10 more levels to get an additional attunement slot. So I'll probably stop at 30 for that character. For Gwythr, I'll probably stop at 26, maybe, because that will get me over 200 FP, and that's the maximum that the Ashen Flask can restore, is 200. Unless you have the Ashen Ring on, which we found, and that increases the recovery of your Ashen Estus Flask. I'm just going to eat some souls so I can at least get an additional level, because I was close, but no cigar. And let's go ahead and hop in there. I don't need more attunement. Right now my FP Flask is healing me, is restoring 190, and I have 189, so there's no need to raise it any further than that. I'm only wasting 1 FP at the most. Or at the least. Yeah, I'm just going to probably go for Vigor. That's going to be the most helpful for me in this next fight. Faith could be helpful because it'll increase the damage of my attacks. Endurance, I don't think... I do want more endurance, but I'm not sure yet if that's what I need right now. Archdragon Peak is going to be tough, and so... yeah, I'm thinking survivability, HP, is probably the best bet. I could split it, but... no, just all of it into Vigor. Yeah. That works. I want my Vigor at least up to like 1200 or so. And I think you can get that by going up to maybe 27. So I only need maybe like one more point. Something along those lines. Let's use the rest of our souls on lightning bolts. They are expensive after all. Now, that's right, he actually will offer to go and explore Lothar Castle, but I'm waiting on that because in order to save him, you have to be able to... well, not save him, but in order to progress that quest line, you have to be able to access the Grand Archives, and I decided not to go there yet. I want to finish Archdragon Peak first, and then I'll probably do maybe the Ashes of Ariandel DLC, and then I'll go back and I'll do the Grand Archives, I think, is going to be a good order. Although, I might do Grand Archives and then DLC. I don't know. We'll see. Gwythr is going to be kind of over-leveled for the DLC, but he can't heal with Estus, so it balances out, I think, in my opinion. Okay, now we're ready to go through that gate. I think I could just run there and not have to fight any of these enemies. You saw those status bars, right, when I teleported in? Maybe it's the shield. Maybe my shield gives me resistances. I gotta test this and figure it out next episode. Something's up. Maybe it's the Ring of Favor. I don't know. But I just want to show you the entrance to the boss. And we're going to actually fight him next episode. I'm not going to fight him this episode. I just die and there's nothing really eventful that happens. So, and I don't have audio, so I might as well just save it. But let me just show you the boss. You can get a glimpse of it. And then that'll be the end of this episode. It's actually 2 episodes in one. This was originally 3 hours of footage that I have cut down. That's how long I was fighting Champion Gundyr. This was originally 3 hours that I cut down because I cut most of my fights with Gundyr down to this one-length episode. And I did that because it would be a waste to watch it all because I have no audio. So yeah, big sorry for that, and I will have it fixed for next time. I know what went wrong. Well, not really. I know how to fix what went wrong. I don't know why it happened at all. But anyway, here is the boss that we will be fighting at the start of next episode.